Yo, what up, feminists? I'm back. It's been like 10 days since I last streamed. I hope everyone is doing well today. And I'm with a very special guest today. I am with RHMax to talk about a really interesting development in PulseChain for both new and older onboards on PulseChain. RHMax, how you doing today? How's everything?
Doing good, man. Just trying to get used and not abused as far as Faucet goes.
That's right. No, I'm glad to hear that. And, I just want to get really right into the faucet. I know that there is, I know that there has been, faucets in the past, but I want to ask you about this particular faucet. What is it for those who don't know what a faucet is, and what is the proposition for it?
Yeah, so I was looking around. I've been doing some more blockchain dev stuff, and I was looking around and I came across a project that was helping me actually practice for some deployments and some dev stuff on Vercel. And I came across the template for a faucet for like Ethereum testnet and stuff. And I was like, this thing works for all EVM chains and all that. So I was like, don't we have a PulseChain faucet? I can't remember. I thought we had one. Then I don't know what happened to it. And long story short there, we used to have one, at least one that I remember was pretty popular with GoPulse, gopulse.com. Yes. And I came across the tweet that they had, disabled it because of, abuse and spam and all this stuff. And I was like, man, this is after I already kind of built it out. I had it working for PulseChain. I hadn't really talked about it yet that much, but I saw we community had tried to have one of these before. And what's so cool about a faucet is you can onboard people with just a wallet. They just give it their wallet address and it sends them Pulse. That's the simple process. So instead of using a bridge or using, centralized exchange or, all the different change now services and all that, you don't need any other coins. It's just it's kind of like if I sent Pulse to you, Corey, except this is a website that will just send you Pulse. So I was like, man, that's such a good idea. I think it's good for onboarding. I really want this to work. And is it just too hard to do? Why don't we have this? Why'd the other one get shut down? That kind of thing.
Right.
So I ended up, playing with it, get some people to test it and all that. And I ended up coming up with, all right, I think, I'm going to adjust it as I need to. I'll tweak it. But I'm going to launch it because I think this is something the community could need. I think it could help with onboarding people or just people in general who just need Pulse to do some transaction. It could help builders. It could help people just try out the network in whatever way. So I launched it this past Saturday and had some donations. Awesome. Appreciate everyone out there donating. That is completely community-driven faucet. It's not like I'm funding it every day. I'm putting more Pulse into everything. It's just completely community-driven. Whoever wants to donate can. No obligation, no reward, no expectations. And so far, it's had I think it's got about 1.5 million Pulse in it.
That's awesome, man.
5 days. Yeah, somebody put I had a couple bigger donations. I think somebody put 1 million Pulse. Actually on stream, I was streaming the other day, and somebody's like, "Yeah, I just donated 1 million Pulse." I was like, "Wow, that's awesome. Thank you." It's really cool to see the community do stuff like that.
No, I agree.
So it's just one of those things where I thought I didn't see it around. I knew maybe it wouldn't be easy, and I found out after I launched it. I was like, man, within a few hours, some of the smaller donations had went away because it had just been, all the Pulse that I had I think at first I had you could take 1,000 Pulse at a time. It's now at 300. I've had to turn different knobs to make sure it's sustainable and all that. So a lot of the donated Pulse went away after a few hours. I was like, okay, I can't control the donations that come in. I can't control everyone who ever uses the faucet, but as a builder, I can help incentivize people using it instead of just trying to drain it or abuse it in different ways. So again, I've got a background in security and in tech and all that. And I was thinking, okay, it's kind of interesting because now I got to think of all the ways I can see on-chain data. How are people using it or trying to abuse it? And I can kind of tailor it. I can put in different features and otherwise make it where it's still usable by new onboards or just people in the community who need it, while not letting people take advantage of it and just try to get all the Pulse out of it. So awesome. It took me about 3 days, of just looking, see how people are using it, and then thinking, oh, how can I, people are using it for this. I don't really want them to do that. How can I make it harder to do that? or putting certain limitations, 24-hour time. You can only use it once per 24 hours. Those type of restrictions. So, anyways, I ended up turning a bunch of knobs and making it where, at least today, knock on wood, it seems. It seems.
I can't hear you that way. You're a little muffled, buddy.
Oh, how about now? You okay?
There you go. Now you're good. Now you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I think as of now, knock on wood, it's sustainable, or it's not sustainable. It'll take a while to see if it's sustainable, but and that depends on community donations and how often people use it. But it's stable for now. It isn't getting like every minute people aren't taking all the pulse out and like really draining things. It is being used every few hours, like a few transactions every hour or so. And so far, hopefully, it's helping people, do whatever they need to do in PulseChain, whether it's builders or new onboards. So I'm pretty happy with it as of now. Again, fingers crossed, it's sustainable. But it's one of those things where I hopefully I'll solve some sort of problem here. And I know there's been people who've been generous before, GoPulse and otherwise, that have set up these services that have just been hard to maintain and hard to, we want to have nice things. How can we have nice things? It's like, man, we got to go out of our way, or people just want to take literally. I mean, if you're taking 300 pulse, 500 pulse, 1,000 pulse out of a wallet, it's only, or out of a faucet, it's only like a few cents or like a penny or something. So, the ideal is to make it harder to keep clicking the buttons so you can't just take it all out at one time. But hopefully this could be another contribution. I think with Go Real DeFi, I think I made a contribution there with, onboarding. And I think hopefully with the faucet, which is linked on Go Real DeFi, I'll share the screen in just a minute and show everyone. But hopefully this will be another contribution that'll be like, okay, PulseChain has a faucet and it works and it's not drained all the time. And that's what I'm hoping it works out with this.
No, I agree. I think that's 100% important because, like, when it comes to onboarding, if someone doesn't have PulseChain, it's very difficult to get on to. Well, it's not very difficult, but it sometimes it becomes a bit of a nuisance. So this can help a lot for builders and non-builders. And like you said, the other faucet that existed no longer, at least to my knowledge, no longer exists. So I think this is a very, very important tool for those that are in the PulseChain ecosystem because it can be utilized now. My question is as you share your screen, where can people find this particular faucet? Like, how do people find this faucet?
Yeah, so the easiest way, I mean, you can go to, I've got a tweet that's got the link to it, and I'll put the link in the chat as well.
Yep, I have it.
pls-faucet.versell.app, or, of course, I added it to Go Real DeFi. So if you go to gorealdefi.com, on the right-hand side, you have Learn to Earn. It's about the 7th one down. It says Faucet. So if you just click on Faucet, it will go to the pls-faucet.versell.app. That may change. You never know when you'll see a new domain pop up. We'll see. And when you go there, again, it's as simple as it looks, right? I try to make everything as frictionless as possible. PulseChain Faucet, literally the instructions right here. Enter your address, solve the CAPTCHA, and click the button. That's literally just what you do. You enter your address, whatever it is, blah, 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 whatever your address you want to send, you want the pulse to be sent to. You click the button with solve the CAPTCHA, which is I'm human. You solve the CAPTCHA. And then the special feature, which I got to credit so far, that has helped reduce the abuse of the faucet or people just using it all the time, whatever they're using it for. I don't want to say it's abuse or otherwise, but I just want to say they were using it very, very often. And this has slowed things down but also made it like, hey, if you're going to be a new onboard, you're probably going to be spending a few hours learning how to do PulseChain stuff. You don't mind to wait 10 minutes. But if you're someone who has been paid to just click things over and over and over, or if you're someone who just wants to get pulse over and over and over, then having to wait 10 minutes every time, it's probably going to make you think twice. Like, yeah, it's not really worth it. I don't want to sit here. I don't want to spend an hour to get, 5 cents worth of stuff. Again, we hope Pulse goes to the moon and, that 5 cents turned in, 100 X's or more. But as of today, the ROI is just, I've set it up in a way to make it heavily incentivize people to only use it when they need it. It makes sense for new onboards. It makes sense for builders who just want to test out stuff. But it doesn't. I've tried to make it not make sense to keep clicking the button when you don't really need it, and use it over and over and over. So that's why there's a waiting period. So after 10 minutes, it will say get 300 PLS. You click the button from there, and that's it. It will send you. You'll send PLS. You'll see PLS show up in your wallet if everything goes through and the wallet that you gave it meets the qualifications and all that stuff. That's the different things I have in place. Right now, it's on every 24 hours. You can request the PLS for different wallets for each wallet or so. And again, if you want to donate, or at the bottom it says this is a community-funded faucet and cannot work without donations. All donations must be done fully with no expectations and cannot be returned. If you'd like to donate, only send PLS to this address, and that's it. Like it's like totally hands off for me too. Once I launch the service, once I put all the protections in place to make sure it gets used more than abused, and people just can't click it all the time. Again, knock on wood, everything's going well so far. That's it. This is what you would send. Like if I were to imagine how people could use this too for onboarding, if you already send people to Go Real DeFi, which I think a lot of people have told me they do that to use the PulseChain apps or to just learn about onboarding and all the playlists and stuff they have here. There's a full playlist and all this stuff. If you yourself don't want to send them Pulse, or if you're making this part of a course, or I can think of a lot of different scenarios where this could be useful. But then you say, okay, how do you get Pulse, right? And it's like, okay, you can bridge ETH over, you can go buy it off another network and bridge it over, or you can use some like swapping service to get on PulseChain. But if you just want enough for a transaction and you just want to get a little bit there, like, hey, there's a PulseChain faucet, PLS faucet.versell.app. And that's how, just another way outside of bridges, outside of centralized exchanges, outside of swapping people's own money. You don't need your own money. It's like the most frictionless possible situation. There's no KYC, there's no sign up, there's no, having to put any of your own capital in. It is, hey, there's a community bucket full Pulse. If you would like a little bit of that Pulse, you just ask for it, you reach in the bucket. If you can reach in the bucket and get the Pulse, now you can transact on the network and come see what it's all about. And that's just another hopefully helpful frictionless step towards onboarding the rest of all the retail we want in.
No, man, I appreciate it. I know we weren't gonna make this a long stream. I know you just wanted to showcase this because I think it's an important tool for excuse me, just bug one of my nose. I do believe that it is a necessary tool. I think that there needs to be more tools for PulseChain for onboarding. When you look at the total trading volume on PulseChain, comparatively to other chains right now, I believe it's number 18. It's like only $9 million in 24-hour volume, if I'm not mistaken. The more the merrier to get people on here. So, any effort is appreciated. And I think it's a very valuable proposition. And I can see the list here. I'm assuming those are all transactions from this faucet.
Yeah. So these are, if you see those transfer out 300 Pulse. Again, the first couple of days, it was like, 1 minute, 3 minute, 5 minute. I'm like, oh man, okay, it's way too fast. I've set it for too much Pulse. It's giving out 1,000. I think I went from 1,000 to, I don't know if I went straight to 300 or to 500 first, but I was like playing with different ways of, okay, what is the minimum amount of Pulse that a new user could use? And that way I can slow it down. I make sure even if it is getting called a lot, it isn't going to just run out of funds very often. And so these are all people who could be new onboards. They could be just people who ran out of Pulse in a wallet and they needed some. Hopefully these are all just people who are getting helped from getting free Pulse.
That's awesome.
Got a donation here. So the last donation was yesterday, 1,200 Pulse. Shout out to whoever sent that. It's awesome. And we'll just go through the page. I'll show you a couple of see some of the other donations. Since everything's slowed down, you can actually see things a little bit more clearly. Yeah, all these are just, again, hopefully going to wallets and people they're getting the native token they need to do some transactions and figure it out. Yeah, actually, there's only been one donation the last couple of days, which is okay because, here's one for 3,000 PLS. Because whoever sent the million in, like really, hopefully again, the idea of a builder in the faucet is to make it last as long as possible. So I put in the protections in place to hopefully it'll last as long as possible. But yeah, somebody sent 3,000 PLS there. What else? Yeah, the million PLS. Again, shout out to the person who sent the million PLS. It's really cool just to see the community fund the 35,000 PLS. To see people be like, that's because that's what I said when I launched it. And people are like, oh, it's out of PLS. I'm like, this can only work if the community wants it. If the community wants to fund a faucet, then they'll donate to it. And again, the only thing a builder can do is to make it, make the PLS go as far as it can by helping, people and making sure they don't call it too many times and all that stuff. So if the community doesn't want the faucet, then next time it runs out of funds, nobody will donate. But if they do want it, that's how you help. That's how, as a community, we build stuff. It's not just like one person doing all this stuff. It's everyone taking their talents and taking their time, energy, and capital and just helping contribute to the network. And that's what I love about this project. Like, you can actually see people who want this thing to happen. Like they vote, they send PLS, so they want it to happen. I think that's pretty cool.
No, man, I appreciate what you do. I know you made Grow Real DeFi. Thank you for creating this. Guys, if you guys are curious about this faucet and you want to direct people to it that may not have Pulse, I pinned the link in the live stream as well for any of those who are curious on how to utilize this, or if you want to send this to friends that want to get onboarded to PulseChain, just didn't have the time to. So make sure to check out that link. Also, RHMax made a tweet on his Twitter, so make sure to check that out too. And all I want to say to you, RHMax, is thank you so much for what you do for this community.
Thanks, man. No, I appreciate what you do as well. Just like having these conversations and just highlighting some of these projects that otherwise it's kind of like we want people to know about these things where they can tell people and show them how to get on the chain, how to stay on the chain. The last thing I want to do is somebody be like, I left PulseChain because I didn't have enough Pulse, or
right,
I left PulseChain because I couldn't figure this thing out. It's like, no, we have all the things figured out. I'm pretty sure we did all the streams. We have all the websites. We have everything to make this place succeed. Just disseminating the information, getting out there to people is what we can do to have a big help. So appreciate it, man.
No, of course, man. Guys, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Consider donating to the channel with super chats. It really just helps the channel grow. Also, make sure to follow RHMax on Twitter. I have his link in the description. Make sure to also subscribe to RHMax's YouTube channel on Twitter. He uploads very, very consistently. I think he's right under 10K, so let's get him to 10K. And RHMax, thank you so much for your time, brother.
Awesome. Thanks, Corey. Appreciate it. Thanks, everyone.
Absolutely. 1 second.